Let's take a break from politics for a minute because there's something I would like to talk about that I feel like that needs to be addressed on this channel in particular, and that's where have all my movie reviews gone? Where's all the movie conversations that I was having with people? What happened to the passion in film that I had? What happened to me talking about Green Inferno and Eli Roth? And what happened to all of this? Well, something tragic has happened in recent years, and it happened even before Green Inferno came out, and it happened before the release of many other horror films, and that's that the horror genre is dying. That's a genre that I've had a strong passion for, and it's not even based around one director, or even directors, or producers, or even audiences. It's just about substance, what's available and what's not, and the execution of these films. One of the ones I saw was Shark Exorcism, I believe was the name of it. And I didn't even watch this. I watched a review of it, and it was bad. Obviously bad. Not like there was any effort put into it. It was terrible acting. Like there's just a lot of components that happen into horror films as of late. You know, you can still watch a Steven Seagal action film on Netflix, and if you look at the ratings, it's still got about 2, 3, 4 stars. It's pretty impressive for a Steven Seagal movie these days. In my honest opinion, when The Foreigner came out, that was his decline of movies. Like after The Foreigner, it just dropped. Because even before then, when Under Siege came out, Under Siege 2, which I've quoted since I was a kid, my favorite quote from that movie that I hold still to this day is "Chance favors the prepared mind." I thought that was genius. If there's anything I took away from that movie, it was that quote. And of course, I watched the movie, today, and it's cheesy. It's a '90s action film that's B level. And back then, I don't think B level was really a term that we used a whole lot, but we use it a lot today. Comic book movies have completely destroyed film as well. Now you have to worry about a big budget film. Does it look good? Does it execute properly? Is it pretty on the big screen? Does it have a lot of flashy lights and blinking colors and whatever? It's stupid and ridiculous. Screen Junkies has even gone to the point of like corporate where Andy wasn't even there to talk about horror films for Halloween, and the horror movies that they did talk about were ones that we've seen and heard of a million times over. Poltergeist, Dracula, Frankenstein, over and over and over again. We've seen these movies, and these movies were amazing back then, but they still hold up because of one element that they don't use, and that's CGI. CGI killed a lot of horror films because when CGI came out, people were able to make a monster out of almost anything. You could use a downloaded program to get this monster in your film, and it looks like dog shit. But people are making films for the sake of making films, it seems like, and there's no passion in it by the actors or producers or directors. And like, yeah, it looks like a fancy color, so we're going to go ahead and slap this and package it to something that it's completely not. One of the most misleading things, and even in VHS, it was doing this. The marketing and the awesome picture of like, oh, I gotta see this, and then you put it in your DVD player, and it's god awful. Uh, there's just so many bad movies out there, but there's more bad horror films than there are good ones. This year, you could probably maybe, if you tried, to get a handful of these horror films. My question is this: there seems to be more bad horror movies than action films and rom coms and all these others. Is it because that even though it's the same hashed out story constantly, over and over again with a different plot or a different cast, it's still the same damn thing? If you watch Valentine's Day and then you watch Holiday and then you watch all these other movies, it's complicated. It's supposed to be a feel good, funny Mamma Mia. Like, it's all the same bullshit, and people bite every fucking time. Hook, line, and sinker. And they tell their friends. Does that have something to do with the audience? And is it these audiences that are wanting these cheesy movies because they just take it and don't say anything about it? Or they think that they can trick people who, in my opinion, could in fact be considered simple minded, and they put out movies like Shark Possession, Shark Exorcist, whatever, two headed shark, three-headed shark, sand sharks, avalanche sharks. Bullshit fucking B level means nothing. I mean, even Sharknado. They're going on a fifth one, I think. And if you watch the first two, it's kind of like a cult classic, like a sci-fi, like whatever. But these are the movies that we've accepted, and it really lowered the standard as far as horror films go. See, what films did back in the days, they didn't use CGI. They used things that would actually scare you, real people, or shadows, glimmers, shimmers, light flickering, things that happen to us in real life that makes you think after seeing that movie, I think I saw a shadow in my dark room. I think I just saw my light flicker. But these don't exist anymore because now, for some reason, somebody had exposed people to an actual CGI monster, or you could say Jurassic Park or Jaws had some sort of responsibility to this. Who knows? But I do know that I've lost faith in horror films, and as much as I loved the guy, Eli Roth is somewhat responsible for this as well. See, Eli Roth was supposed to come out with a movie called Thanksgiving. He kept saying, I want to do this, I want to do this. Even though I did the fake trailer for Grindhouse and stuff like that, I still want to make this Thanksgiving movie. There was a compilation short story thing that came out called Holidays, and it's got, Easter, it's got Father's Day, Mother's Day, it's got probably 4th of July on it, it's got all these different holidays. But Thanksgiving's not on that. And it almost makes you wonder, if you're going to do Father's Day and Mother's Day, why not do Thanksgiving on a holidays short film collection? It's kind of like Viral, VHS Viral, the VHS movies. It's a compilation of short films. And it comes into a storyline. Or ABC's of Death. But that's what's wrong, is that there's no passion. And even Eli Roth, he's coming out with things like this. The Stranger. Now, I bought this thinking it was going to be amazing. Even though Knock Knock I found to be a disappointment. I thought that Green Inferno was going to really push him to do more. Now he's talking about just simply producing films, even though he hasn't given us anything since Green Inferno, which we waited years and years to see. Now there's talk of a Green Inferno 2 they'll be producing. All of this stuff is coming out on IFC Midnight. The Cabin Fever remake, which was absolute shit, and I didn't even have to see it to know that. I've lost faith in Eli Roth. It was the alpha and omega as far as Tarantino and Roth goes. Roth did Hostel and executed it with the help of Quentin Tarantino. Hostel 2 was fucking amazing. I loved the second one, and I remember why he said he did the second one. Now there's really no reason to do a Cabin Fever remake. That movie still holds up. There's no reason to make The Stranger on IFC Midnight, where he didn't even direct it. He produced it, and it's the same guy that he worked with who produced it, but it's a different director. The guy that had helped him produce it was also the writer for, and I believe the producer and director for Aftershock, which had the most horrendous death scene without so much of the gore but intensity. And that's another thing that horror leans to is gore. 31 had just the right amount of gore. It was still intense. It was still gritty. It was completely crowdfunded. Rob Zombie's film 31, which I thought was pretty good. I didn't think it was the most amazing thing on the planet, but I definitely thought that it was a good movie, and it gives me hope for Rob Zombie's future projects. And that got me excited to see more of his stuff. I was really hoping to see Tyrannosaurus Rex when I had first heard about it, but there's details to that were not of his doing. But even Rob Zombie outdid Eli Roth this year. Eli Roth hasn't come out with anything this year. Hateful Eight came out this year, and that was Tarantino's 8th film, and now he's got 2 more that he's doing, and then he's punching his ticket. He's done. He's retiring. So what's going to happen with the action films? What's going to happen with the action comedies? Are we going to get Rush Hour 5? Are we going to get all these fucking money grabs for sequels and reboots? Look how well it went for Ghostbusters. You know what I mean? Like, Ghostbusters didn't even do well at all, and it even got Paul Feig to say, I will never reboot another movie. This was supposed to be a trilogy. I'm not making them. I'm done, because we were right. The ones that said that movie wouldn't go anywhere we were right. But that's what's happening is we're getting reboots and sequels. And the one thing that we can say is that 2017 is looking promising for horror film, but this year I've not been too excited. I think the one movie that I was excited to see for its originality and for its storyline and for the of course, the fact that it was like, first person was Hardcore Henry. And I may or may not have done a review on that movie. I just know it was a good fucking movie for what it was. I mean, the plot was still a little but oh my god, like it was an experience to see it in theaters. I mean, to own it on DVD, maybe if you want to stream it, maybe, but to really get the experience, which is what I saw the movie as, it wasn't a film, it was an experience. Much like what Mad Max was supposed to be. In order to appreciate it, you probably had to see it in theaters, which I didn't. I don't much care for Mad Max, and I'm probably one of the only guys that thinks that. But I don't care for it, and I'm not impressed by anything that has come out in the past 2 years in comparison to years prior. But it's like we had Conjuring 2, which was, we could all agree, had its moments, and James Wan did an amazing job at executing it. But that's about it. We're not seeing much as far as horror films go. We're not seeing originality, and those that are independently funded and fueled are coming out straight to DVD, coming out in video stores, coming out on Netflix, and they're getting 1-2 star reviews, or please, for the love of God, don't do this, or this isn't the Krampus movie you think it is. It's sad, but this is what's happening. It's like people are cashing in simply to make money, so the passion is gone. And when passion is gone and things start to reach a plateau, one must think to go back to roots to come up with a new idea. So I cut out horror movies and got involved with documentaries and wanting to do my own documentary. And I've been going to more concerts, so I got back into music and stepped away from film. Film has been a complete disappointment. And I think that a lot of people should step away from film as a way of a silent boycott of like, no, I'm not seeing any more movies, hashtag whatever. No, just don't. Let them figure it out. Let them try and notice the trend. Because when you do shit like that, you do the hashtag don't go see this movie, hashtag this, that, the other, don't go see this movie, you're still giving it publicity. How do you think a certain somebody ended up, sitting in the Oval Office in this coming January? That's exactly what happened. It's bad publicity bad publicity is better than no publicity. But even the media had forgotten that. But we can't lose sight of that either. As far as films go, if something is bad or seems bad, or you even get the whiff that it's going to look bad, be bad, it's going to have an element in it, don't give them your money, because that's going to give them the idea of like, well, if I made it and I was able to make a profit, which is what it is, you're spending $3 million on a movie and you make $15 million off it, even though it's garbage, they're going to go and make a sequel. The Purge is now going to be a TV series. What the fuck? That's going to get so watered down and saturated that it's not even going to be The Purge anymore. These are the dumb ideas that people are coming out with. It's like, hey, let's take The Purge out of the theaters. Now we got enough to make it a series. You guys remember what happened to the Friday the 13th series, right? Just want to make sure you guys remember that. I mean, even Crypt TV, this stuff that's coming out with Crypt TV, it's watered down, it's saturated. There hasn't even been any real reports of like an, oh my god, horror movie this year, except the one that really stands out is in fact Conjuring 2. Lights Out had the potential to outshine Conjuring 2, and it didn't. And that should upset you. Lights Out had so much potential. That was the betting horse for me on the best horror movie. I couldn't wait for it. And after my disappointment with Lights Out, where I was like, the fuck? I was done. The short film had a much better payoff than the actual movie did. This is a tragedy that is happening in movies. It's happening in action films. It's happening in every genre you can possibly imagine. Even documentaries, when they're doing it half-ass, a fucking shaky camera, these found footage films that just kind of need to fade away because people are doing it because it's cheap and easy to do. Can they act? Who gives a fuck? Is it good quality? Who gives a fuck? You give it a pretty cover and these people are going to go fucking buy it. They're going to go watch it. They're going to go sit in a theater, pay $15 to go see this movie, and they're going to eat it up. and they're gonna hate it, and hopefully word doesn't get out like it did with Batman versus Superman, a comic book movie, which bit the dust after its opening weekend. It fucking teetered down into the pits of whatever the fuck. An extended edition release on DVD couldn't save it, so now they're gonna probably end up rebooting that right around the time that Justice League comes out. There's gonna be a little bit of a rehash or a revisit or a cartoon version or whatever to try and save face. And that's what films have been boiled down to now. It's pretty much, can it sell? Can we make money off of it? There's no passion in it anymore, and the people that do have passion for it are unfortunately leaving. And I know this is a bit too early to say, but we can pretty much bet that Eli Roth is done making movies. As far as being a director and a writer for him, I think he pretty much cashed out after Green Inferno. And with no warning, he was supposed to direct Meg, and then we got excited about Meg. He canceled a bunch of his projects to go and do Meg. Well, he's not going to be directing Meg. So where do we go from here? He's doing shit on IFC Midnight. And as you can tell if you've seen The Stranger, if you've seen the Cabin Fever remake, he's not putting in any of his art into it that he used to have. He's not putting any of his passion into it, and it's gone. So that is why I haven't been having a whole lot of excitement for movies. And the trailers I have seen coming out, it's like it's original just for the sake of originality. And it's like in your face, like coming up this close to you. This is original. This is brand new. We have never seen this before. That's not good either. Like when you have to remind me that this is an original film, that we haven't seen something like this since the 20s or whatever, you're trying too damn hard, and you're still doing it not for the passion, but for the sake of trying to be original and to try to take people's money and to make a profit. And when the film industry has become no different than a Walmart, than a Myers, than a Kohl's, than any major corporation, and the the films and the industries and the trademarks and the hallmarks and the whatever are just doing the same thing all these different stores are doing, like these film production companies. There's no passion from them. They just want to cash in. Look what happened with Halloween 2. Halloween 2 is blackmail for Rob Zombie. Hey, we are not going to fund Tyrannosaurus Rex. But if you make Halloween 2 for us, we'll give you back your screenplay instead of having you to buy it back from us. Because it was a cash grab. That's what it was. Lionsgate wanted to make money off of it, and they did. There's going to be a third one next year that Rob Zombie, it's supposed to be in his universe of Michael Myers, but he's not going to be directing it or producing it. He's got other stuff he's doing. This is why film is dying. Our last hope? Who knows? But be original. If you're going to be an independent filmmaker, be an independent filmmaker and do it with passion. Don't do it because I want to make it quick. Look at horrorcore music. Look how quick horrorcore died out. It died out because everybody was picking up a microphone, plugging it into their fucking laptop, downloading a cheap fucking program, and making music saying they were going to be the next best thing. I hate to tell you, man, but there's you and 6 million others that are doing the same fucking thing. And it's the same thing with films. Don't do it. The passion for film is completely dead until I notice anything that I'm like, this is new hope. This is going to get us ahead. No, instead we're still focused on fucking Star Wars fucking 22. We're still focused on fucking Marvel and these DC fucking movies. And I even said that it was going to be the detriment to film. I said it and I meant it, and now we're seeing it. Do it with passion or don't do it all.